Hello, Aquarius, and welcome to Indigo Rising Tarot. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope you're having a great day. This will be your weekly reading for the week of March 29th through April 4th. And during that time, we have a waxing gibbous moon for the first part of the week. And that's a good time. We have a deeper understanding and outlook on those things that we're working on right now, but we're showing that we can be flexible and making adjustments where they are needed. We then have the full moon that comes in on April 2nd. And of course, that energy can last the day before, during, and even the day after. And that's a time of heightened senses and emotions. You might feel prone to being a little snappy and irritable. You might just have high energy. That's what I have, is just high positive energy. You may have changes in your sleeping patterns. I know I have trouble sleeping during a full moon and the days around it. So it is a good time every cycle we get to practice patience and calm. It must be very important for us to learn those things because each month we get to work on that. So do that. Practice patience and calm through that. We then have the waning gibbous moon, which is it's a little calmer, a good time for self-reflection. We're back to work, but we're getting rid of bad habits and negative thinking and just being positive. And, let's get those things wrapped up, those things that we're working on at the time. So please keep those moon energies in mind as we move through the week. This will be an intuitive general reading for energies that you may or may not encounter, Aquarius. So, as always, please take what resonates and leave what doesn't on the table for someone else. And your overall message for this reading is it's time to release negativity. Well, isn't that perfect? Because that is what the first part of our week is about, is releasing that negativity. So let's do it. Let's get rid of it. As I'm shuffling the tarot, my fun weekly reminder this week is that you take some time to get out into nature. So if you do have some negativity to release, nature would love to take it off your hands, because nature is about that. Nature is just get out, take a walk, maybe sit and feed some birds. You feel so much better when you get out in nature a little bit. Also, we've got that full moon. So if you're a stargazer or a night sky lover like I am, find a nice warm night during that full moon maybe, or around it, and get out and enjoy the moon a little bit. So that is my fun weekly reminder for you this week, is that you try to get yourself out into nature and enjoy a little bit and let it help cure whatever ails you. So, all right, Aquarius, let's get into this reading. March 29th through April 4th, it's time to release negativity. Your present situation right now is the Queen of Cups. I've seen the Queen of Cups a lot in this week of readings. So you're not the only one. Everyone, not everyone, but a lot of the different signs, different collectives are really on top of their emotions this week, and not only their own emotions, but the people around them. So it's almost like there's some sort of heightened emotional sensitivity going on. A lot of this stuff could be astrological, that there's just something going on where all of us are just concerned about it, like, are you okay, and checking on each other. And that's that queen energy, is that you're not only in balance and kind of in control of yourself, but that you're checking on everyone else around you too, checking on your constituents, your friends, your family, just kind of checking in. Everybody okay? We good? So that's a very nice way. And you're not the only one. It's almost like we're all having a little bit of a heightened sense of emotion a little bit this week. So that's very interesting. Your current situation is the World card. So look at you in perfect balance. Usually this is the end. This is the very last card in the major arcana. So this is where the Fool arrives after he goes through all of his trials and tribulations through the major arcana and meeting everyone and going through all of those things. The Fool ends up at the perfect balance card, the World card. The world is your oyster. It just depends on it. This is, being fulfilled. You just have to travel that journey that the Fool does to get there. So that's where you are right now. That's a very nice, balanced, awesome place to be. At the root of your situation this week is the Hierophant, which is definitely about seeking some sort of spiritual guidance, typically. Guidance for sure, usually spiritual. It might be why you're at a tarot reading right now. You might be like, I'm at an impasse here. I'm in a good place. I like the way I feel. I like how I've arrived here, and I want more. I want to know what I'm supposed to do moving forward. So we'll see if your cards come out and if anything says so in this reading for you. In your recent past, Ten of Pentacles, also another card, You've just seen me shuffle these cards. It just amazes me. This card has been in so many readings position right here that it must be, and I attribute it to maybe because it's tax time. People are thinking about finances. A lot of times after the first of the year, people are thinking about like their investments at work, where things are getting divided. So there's money and things that are going on, but it's in your recent past to kind of be thinking about longevity when it comes to not only material. I always feel like, yes, this is a card of pentacles, but when we're bringing other people into the world, if you're raising a family, you're not only trying to think of the long-term wealth things and material things that you might pass on, but also those things, like morals and traditions and just kind of ways of being that you're passing on to the next generation. So something to think about there. What's on your mind this week is the Emperor. So there might be on your mind that you are wanting to build something. And it could be because of this past that you're thinking, you know what, here I am. It's that time. Hold on. I knew, excuse me, that I wasn't going to be able to stop that sneeze. A lot of times I can say purple cow. I didn't even have time to say it. If you don't know that sometimes if you say purple cow before you sneeze, it'll stop the sneeze. Anyway, with the Emperor, with this on your mind is stability and leading, being a leader, but building something that's lasting. And that's on your mind. And it could just be your life. You might be thinking, what is it that I need to be building and how do I need to build it? I mean, I look at these cards, especially the Hierophant and the Emperor. I mean, they're facing directly, they're asking you that question, as the person here. So, what is it that you want to build? And maybe that's on your mind. Maybe you're not even sure. Again, you might be at the end of some journey and thinking, okay, what's next? What do I want to build next? But it seems to be a deeper question about really just the rest of your life, that yeah, you can build something right now. You can build a little temporary life in this thing with a job and all the things that it takes, but what's the bigger picture? So sometimes we do need to step back and look at the bigger picture, and also look at how our spiritual life comes into play in that bigger picture. There are things that we learn and we want to engage in our day-to-day life, be it ritual practice, that sort of thing. um, and you want to teach this to your family as well. You want to instill those kind of values and those kind of things. So whether they bite or not, some do, some don't. It just depends. But let's see what's just ahead of you this week. There's something on your mind to build something, and you're releasing the negativity, I think, to give space so that you can start that creative process, right? So just ahead of you this week is the Star card. So, the Star card is literally about being on course and following whatever is written in the stars for you. And you may not know that until you look back and go, wow, that happened. But, I feel like the Star card is a lot of times about, yes, noticing synchronicities, but a lot of times too, just saying yes to things because you don't know where it's going to lead you. And this is where, the friend might be like, come on, go to the zoo with me, go to the park with me today. And you're like, I really don't want to go to the park today, but you go to the park and someone throws a ball to their dog and it lands at your feet. And all of a sudden you're standing there looking at the man that you're about to marry. That's what I mean by saying yes to things. So if you're young and single, of course that can happen. If you're in a different place in your life, just imagine that, like, same scenario. Your friend says, "Let's go to the park," and you're sitting on the park bench, and all of a sudden a frisbee comes and lands in front of you, and this person is at a company that you've been dying to get a job at or get an interview, and you strike up so that kind of thing. Those little synchronistic meetings of people that just change your life, honestly. So, saying yes sometimes lets you allow the universe to make those kind of changes for you, the things that you've wanted to manifest. I hope that made sense. That was a lot of words. In your advice position, Aquarius, is the Lover's card. So again, here we are. Are we saying yes so that we can meet someone or so that we can enhance our current relationship that we're in? It very well could be. Could be. I mean, I think some of you, I feel like for the single set, yeah, there's something in there that you need to say yes to that might lead you to a person. It just, that story came about so easily and so strongly to me. But also, if you're in a relationship, the advice is to apply this also to the relationship. What are you doing long term, to make things better? What are you building when it comes to this relationship, and what is written in the stars for you? So that's pretty cool. What is beyond your control this week? is the Three of Pentacles. So a little bit of creativity there. Maybe just working with someone, could be your partner, on just being creative. Like, let's find these creative solutions to our life. If it's someone that you just meet, it could be a creative date that you come up with. Just saying. What is your secret desire, or what are you trying to avoid? Well, I hope it's your secret desire, because the Temperance card is our card of inspiration and just perfect balance. This is fulfillment. This is dreams come true. This is like the World card. I just see such a positive energy right here with this reading, and so many major arcana. We've got one, two, three, four, five, six major arcana. This is like a big week for Aquarians. For something pretty big and major to go on, I do see it as something being very positive also. What's in your outcome here? Wow, another major arcana, the Empress. Also a card of creativity, much like the Three of Pentacles, but a card of long-term creativity. So, um, those of you that are trying to get pregnant, that's a great card for that. If you're trying to bring a child into the world, I always have to mention that. And if you're not, please be careful, because there she is. So that's always an issue. But also, the Empress is about doing and committing to long-term projects, not just a baby, but a job or a house that you might want to move to. It's about making really big decisions, builder decisions, for long-term wealth and security. I love this reading. I mean, it's so positive and so balanced, and it just has all the nice elements that I feel like for a really nice life and a really nice week and a really big week for you to make some big decisions, or at least have things put on your plate that are big decisions. You may not decide on anything yet this week, but I feel like you've got a lot of things that are coming at you, and you're like, what? And that too, what? It's kind of, I mean, I think astonishing might be the word I even might title this video, because you've got a lot of astonishing things coming at you just in one week for whatever reason. Yeah, Aquarius. All right, what's hidden from you is the King of Cups. Interesting. Didn't we start off with the Queen of Cups? Yeah, we started off with the Queen of Cups. So the Queen of Cups is the very feminine energy of the understanding of emotions, where the King of Cups is the more male energy of just the knowledge. May not be understanding too much, but the knowledge that these kind of the knowledge of his emotions and everyone's around him. Just, it's there. We're not going to get too touchy feely about it, but the Queen does. The Queen gets involved. The King doesn't. The King kind of observes, in this very kingly way. So that's kind of hidden from you this week. So you're more in your feelings than you are in just the like the intellectual knowledge of that, if that makes sense. I think it's a better place to be in that queenly area myself. I don't know. All right, let's get a final message here from the Soul Oracle deck. Final message for Aquarius, as they have this, it's literally astonishing. I don't know what's going on with you guys. Find your backbone. So in all of these astonishing decisions, it looks like you're going to have to stand up to something and maybe say yes to something. What is it? Say yes. Say yes to whatever. There's a lot going on. All right. What do you need to do in the way of self-care this week? I think that's funny that it said find your backbone, because I'm trying to think of where. I mean, it could be in meeting someone. It could be, again, in the star card, about just saying yes to something, even though you don't want to, because there's a synchronistic thing waiting for you there. I don't know. Could be that. And it could be on what you're deciding, because looks like you're presented with a lot this week. So I will say that. All right. The card for you for self-care that comes up is the card called Energy. Stop trying to please everyone. Everyone is a whole lot of people. Protect your energy. Find your backbone. Protect your energy. These things might be happening. You need to release negativity, but you do need to stand up for the things that you want, the things that you want to build in your life, and this nice balance that you want to have with the world and the temperance. Those are cards of just balance. And maybe there's something that you haven't been finding your backbone on in your past, that if you did, would bring you more of this balance and more of this creative building into the future, into something really positive. So Aquarius, I wish you all the best of luck with this. If there's something that you want to comment on, or something that you're comfortable sharing, of course, drop me a comment down below. Let me know what happened with you this week. Was there something astonishing that that I've described here, because I'm very, very curious now to know. Also, if you like my reading style, hitting like and subscribe will just bring you back to me for next week for the next reading. We could see what happens with this energy, or if there's something completely new here for you. So, once again, Aquarius, thanks so much for being here. Good luck with this, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.